You're staring at a piece of pseudocode in your exam. The question says, complete the trace table. And your mind goes completely blank. I know that feeling. And I'm going to make sure it never happens to you again. Because here's the truth, trace tables are not hard. They're just misunderstood. Once you understand what's actually happening step by step, variable by variable, you'll look forward to trace table questions. Because they are free marks. And today, you're going to learn exactly how to get them. Welcome to CS with Lamyaa. I'm your guide through the Pearson Edexcel IGCSE Computer Science 4CP0 course. Every episode, every topic, every exam tip you need. This is episode 3, Trace Tables and Dry Running Code. Let's go. In this episode, here is exactly what we are going to cover together. Number 1, what dry running means and why it matters in your exam. Number 2, how to set up a trace table, the columns, the variables, the output. Number 3, how to trace code with if and else selection step by step. Number 4, how to trace a while loop through every single iteration. Number 5, the 4 most common mistakes that examiners report every year and exactly how to avoid them. Number 6, a full exam-style question with a complete mark scheme so you can check your own work. By the end of this episode, trace tables will never scare you again. Let's start from the beginning. Before we touch a trace table, let's answer the most basic question. What is dry running? Dry running means reading through code manually without a computer and tracking exactly what happens at every single step. You become the computer. You follow each instruction, one by one, and you record the result. And a trace table is simply the tool we use to record all of that. It's a grid, columns for each variable, rows for each step. Every time a variable changes its value, you write the new value in the table. That's it. Why does Edexcel love testing this? Because it proves something important, that you actually understand what code does, not just what it says. You can read the words, but can you follow the logic? That's what trace tables test. Exam tip. Trace table questions appear in both Paper 1 and Paper 2. They are worth 4 to 8 marks each. Students who skip this topic leave a huge number of marks on the table, literally. Let me show you exactly how to set up a trace table. We're going to use a simple example first, and then we'll go harder. Here is our first piece of Pearson pseudocode. Set x to 3, set y to 5. Set z to x plus y, send z to display. Step 1, identify every variable. Look through the code and find every name that stores a value. In this example, we have x, y, and z. Step 2, create your trace table. 1 column per variable plus an extra column for any output. Step 3, execute each line one at a time. Line 1, set x to 3, so we write 3 in the x column. Line 2, set y to 5. We write 5 in the y column. Line 3, set z to x plus y, that's 3 plus 5 equals 8. We write 8 in z. Line 4, send z to display. We write 8 in the output column. Done. That is a complete trace table. Notice we only write a value when it changes or when something is output. We do not copy the old value across every row. That's a common mistake. Exam tip. Only write a value in a cell when it changes. Leaving cells empty is correct. Copying the previous value across every row is a mistake that wastes time and confuses your answer. Now let's add some difficulty. What happens when there's an if statement inside the code? This is where students panic and where you're going to stay completely calm. Here's the rule. When you reach an if, you evaluate the condition using the current values of the variables. If the condition is true, you follow the then branch. If it's false, you skip to else, or if there's no else, you skip to end if. Let's try this example. Set score to 72. If score is greater than or equal to 50, then send open quote pass close quote to display. Else, send open quote fail close quote to display. End if, set up your trace table with score and output columns. Line 1, score becomes 72. Line 2, we evaluate is 72 greater than or equal to 50? Yes, so we take the then branch. Line 3, we output the word pass. We skip the else branch entirely and jump to end if. This is where most students lose marks. Loops. When there's a loop in the code, you have to trace through every single iteration every single time the loop runs. There are no shortcuts. You go through it once, you go through it again and again until the loop ends. Every row of your trace table represents one execution of one line. Let's trace a while loop. Here's the code. Set count to 1. Set total to 0. While count is less than or equal to 3, do set total to total plus count. set count to count plus 1, end while, send total to display. 3 variables, count, total, and output. Let's trace it line by line. Line 1, count becomes 1. Line 2, total becomes 0. Line 3, we check is 1 less than or equal to 3? Yes, enter the loop. Line 4, total becomes 0 plus 1 equals 1. Line 5, count becomes 2. Back to line 3, is 2 less than or equal to 3? Yes. Continue. Line 4, total becomes 1 plus 2 equals 3. Line 5, count becomes 3. Back to line 3, is 3 less than or equal to 3? Yes. Line 4, total becomes 3 plus 3 equals 6. Line 5, count becomes 4. Back to line 3, is 4 less than or equal to 3? No, false. Exit the loop. Line 7, output 6. The final answer is 6, and your trace table shows every single step that got you there. Exam tip. In the exam, if a loop runs 3 times, your trace table needs at least 3 rows per iteration. Don't skip rows. Examiners check every step. A single skipped row can cost you marks even if your final answer is correct. Let's talk about the mistakes examiners see every year. These are from the actual Pearson examiner reports, so listen carefully. Mistake number 1, carrying values across every row. Students write the same value in every single row, even when it hasn't changed. This is wrong. Only record a value when it changes. Empty cells are perfectly correct. Mistake number 2, skipping loop iterations. If a loop runs 5 times, you must trace all 5 iterations. Writing the final result without showing the steps will cost you every single method mark. Mistake number 3, forgetting the exit condition check. When a loop exits, you must show the final check that caused it to exit the one that evaluated to false. Many students trace the last iteration but forget to show the failed check. That's a mark lost. Mistake number 4, using Cambridge pseudocode syntax. If the question gives you Pearson pseudocode, which it will in 4CP0, make sure you're reading it correctly. Receive is input. Send to display is output. Set is assignment. Don't confuse them with Cambridge's input and output commands. Exam tip. The Pearson pseudocode reference sheet is given to you in Paper 2. In Paper 1, it is not given. Memorize the key syntax now so you're confident in both papers. Time for a real exam-style question. Pause the video here, get a pen and paper, and complete this trace table yourself. Then come back and check your answer. Here is the pseudocode. Set x to 2. Set y to 10. While x is less than y do. Set x to x multiplied by 2. End while. Send x to display. Complete the trace table for variables x and y and write the final output. Pause now. Ready? Here's the answer. Line 1, x becomes 2. Line 2, y becomes 10. Iteration 1 is 2 less than 10? Yes, x becomes 2 multiplied by 2 equals 4. Iteration 2 is 4 less than 10? Yes, x becomes 4 multiplied by 2 equals 8. Iteration 3, is 8 less than 10? Yes, x becomes 8 multiplied by 2 equals 16. Check, is 16 less than 10? No, false. Exit the loop. Output, 16. The loop runs 3 times. X doubles each iteration, 2, 4, 8, 16. When it reaches 16, the condition is false and the loop exits. The output is 16. How many marks would you score? If you got the right final answer but skipped some rows, you probably got 2 out of 4. If you showed every step, you got full marks. That's the difference between a 7 and a 9. And that is trace tables completely demystified. Let me give you your 3 takeaways from this episode. 1. Dry running means becoming the computer, following every instruction step by step. 2. Only write a value when it changes. Empty cells are correct. 3. Show every loop iteration, every condition check, every output. Method marks are there for the taking. Trace tables are free marks in your 4CP0 exam, and now you know exactly how to get them. Episode 4 is coming next. We're going into search algorithms, linear search and binary search. How computers find things, how to trace them, and exactly what Edexcel expects in your answers. If this helped you today, subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a comment below with your trace table answer. I want to see your working. You've got this. See you in episode 4.